Step 1, wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Yes, I'm still in my room. I am still in my room. I tried to get up this morning. It was not happening. I was too exhausted. But I'm up, and we have a 3-hour drive today. 3.5. Actually, it's more of a 4-hour drive today. 4-hour drive today. So, anyways, we're going to have a long day today. Nonetheless, I'm hoping that I was sitting here thinking, and this is one of the reasons why I decided to go live, is because if I do get in the area and we can't go live, then I'm not going to be able to talk to you guys. I can only take footage and until I get back to my room. Now, the audio and visual here this morning might be a little odd. I'm on StreamYard, which takes a lot of, bandwidth for whatever reason. And I've got my hotspot, which works better than the internet. But still, since we're not on just straight YouTube and going through StreamYard, you guys are probably going to have some, not so good audio and visual. So hopefully that fixes itself when it finally publishes, if you guys want to do like a replay. But new information is coming out, and it started coming out, I think, yesterday or something like that. But we have with Brian Kohberger, we have the Brian Kohberger's team. We discussed in length trying to delay. We went through their objection, Brian Kohberger's objection. Brian Kohberger's wanting to add additional time and bring witnesses. And it's like, wait a minute, this has been going on for months. They knew that this day was coming. Judge Marshall even said, look, this is already in the Court of Appeals. Let them rule on it. Once that happens, we'll figure it out after that. Well, she scheduled it for hearing, as she promised the Gonzalez family. And now Brian Kohberger's attorney, excuse me, is basically saying, well, we want to bring in experts and we just don't have time to prepare for this. And it's like, lady, you don't get 5 months to prepare for a motion hearing. You just don't. You've had 5 months. What gives? 4 months. I mean, even if we said 3 months, who gets 3 months to have time to prepare for a motion? Especially one like this, one that's, violating people's constitutional rights. So we're going to go over, and I got it pulled up here, but let me just say good morning to everybody, because we don't have such a huge crowd here this morning because my schedule's been all over the place. So once we get back home, we're going to get this rolled out like we normally do. But this has just been a little and crazy because I've been gone for 5 days. So anyways, good morning, the real me too. It's nice to see you bright and early here. I know you guys have missed me. I've missed you guys immensely. That's why I've been trying to pop in and pop out here and there as much as I possibly can. I also want to give a big shout out, as Miss Robin states, and I did see everybody else in the chat as well as we were preparing to go live. Happy Mother's Day to all you beautiful mothers. Happy Mother's Day. The moms that aren't moms, that didn't give birth to their children, but have children that they take care of, right? Stepmoms. Happy Mother's Day to you too. Because I know being a stepmom, being a mom's hard. Being a stepmom sometimes can be even more difficult. And it's because you're not their mother. You've got to try to develop a relationship, also develop, your authoritarian position in that child's life, because you're a parent. And you've got to make sure that child's safe. So all you beautiful mothers out there, the ones that, gave birth to the children, and the ones that are just taking care of them because the love of the children. God bless each and every one of you. Grandmothers, aunts, right? Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to you all. Good morning, Babe King. It's nice to see you. Emma M. Nice to see you. Colette. Maria, good vibes. Yes, we have good vibes. I have good rest. I needed it. I set the alarm. I know I had to have been tired because I slept slops through the alarm. I didn't even hear it. I think the alarm was going off every 15 minutes for the last 2 hours, and I slept through it. My body's exhausted. Truthful Soul, it's nice to see you. Bob Black, good morning. Kathy S. Pen 1010. Good morning. Happy Sunday. What is it? Casper. Nice to see you, Casper. Lady 7 Up. Pet Detective. It's nice to see you in here this morning. Good morning. And we got Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. Nice to see you. Happy Mother's Day. Dixie, Kentucky girl, good morning. I am so sorry. There was a couple people, and I think it was Chadwell and Dixie, Kentucky girl that wrote me, and I didn't even know they were in like a spam folder. I don't even know what platform they were on, and I found them, and it was like weeks since they had wrote, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. I didn't see you over here. A little messy. I think we're all a little messy. And that's okay. We need to be a little messy. We need to get a little messy here. There we go. We all need to be a little messy. Oh, Rebecca, good morning. Julie, it's nice to see you. Kathy S., it's nice to see you as well. The good news is this is not just going to keep popping up. Like that's the one thing I don't like on YouTube. Like this, I can control the chat. Like I can move it, and when I stop it, it's stopped. On there, you stop it, but you go to move it just a little bit, and it just pops all the way to the bottom, and then you got to scroll and try to find your place. I'm just not used to it because I've been on StreamYard so long, but StreamYard just takes so much bandwidth. Like right now, I'm sure your audio and visual kind of sucks a little bit on your end, but there's nothing I can do about it. Let's see here. Who else do we have in the house? Good morning. Good morning. Mama Shellbell, nice to see you, love. Christine, it's nice to see you as well. Sue. Justice Jane. She says, Lori Vallow and Chad. Lori Vallow, I'm very thankful, she's done. Like she was found guilty of all charges, and God bless the jury on that. I know people were getting a little, we all get a little nervous when it's start time for deliberation, because we wonder, how those people's personalities are. Did they hear what we heard? Did they see something we didn't see? Are they processing the information differently? Does somebody just have a bleeding heart? Those are things, because these are jurors. So they run off. These are not professionals. I mean, some of them are, like doctors. That's not what I mean. Like professional jurors, right? There's no such thing. But these people are normal people that have emotions, and some people run their life off emotion. Do you have one of those jurors like that? I mean, it's always just nerves. It really just is a lot of nerves when it comes to this, especially in light of, the deliberation and things of that nature. It just, I don't know. It's just, it's always nervous, but I always pray, and I always think that we are going to have, that justice will prevail. And sometimes it doesn't, but I still think, I believe things happen for a reason. So I don't know what that reason is, and I try not to question the reason, but I always believe in the justice system, in the process. Is it perfect? Of course not. And nothing in this world is perfect, no matter what people try to convince you of. There's nothing perfect in this world. There's only one perfect in this world, and it's not really in this world, right? It's my God, and that's probably the only thing close to perfect. Everybody else is just imperfect. Everything else is just imperfect. Good morning, Guidance. Nice to see you here, love. Oh, we have Crazy Texan Truth Seeker becoming the newest member of this crazy group we call the Coffee Club. Good morning. We even have Okie Crime News in the house. Good morning, love. Good morning. It's nice to see you, Official Nikki. Leaf Lover Liz, nice to see you as well. Barbara Tatum. Emma's mom, good morning. Happy Mother's Day. And we got Pickle Toe Grandma. You guys are so cute. What is a pickle toe? What is a pickle toe grandma? I just want to know. Just let me know. Let me know. Okay. All right, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and bring this on up. So it's like, let me go over here a little bit so I can try to, oops, that's almost too big. There we go. So we went over, we already went over the objection to the motion. Let me share this tab instead. We already went over this, like the objection to the motion. We went over this in pretty good detail and discussing some of the stuff in here and about his rights. And it's like, they're trying to protect something that hasn't happened yet. And that's not how the law works. You don't put in orders in place for issues that haven't even arose yet. That's not how it works. It really isn't. However, I love the state's response related to this objection. This is the objection that came from Brian Kohberger and his attorney. See right here where it says comes now, Brian C. Kohberger. Right there. That is who's filing this. So this is the defense saying, hey, We're rejecting this. We're objecting to this whole thing. This is going to be really bad. We need to keep this and keep a fair trial. The bottom line is the Supreme Court has spoken. Period. The Supreme Court has spoken. They have raised the fact that this non-dissemination, what Meghan Markle is putting in place, is against the law. Period. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's against the law. It's a violation to the constitutional rights of media and press. And that includes me. That includes anybody that's covering these cases. Anybody. And we have a right to do so. I'm not asking for, and nor is anybody else asking for something that they're not entitled to. You understand? We're entitled to this information by law. By law, we're entitled to it. And I want anything and everything I'm entitled to under the law when it comes to these cases. So here's the response. And it says, basically, Mr. Kohberger's objection to intervener's motion to reconsider order dated May 4th, 2023 highlights the exact problem here. I love how they start this out. He requested and received a gag order without submitting supporting evidence to the court. So they're basically going to the court saying, hey, somebody down the road might violate Brian Kohberger's rights to a fair trial. Might. And because somebody might, we need to shut this down. That's not how it works. If we go back to the opinion from the Supreme Court, they specifically state in that opinion, you can't use the law to stop an issue. I'm paraphrasing here. You can't use the law to stop an issue that's never happened. That's what they're trying to do. So they're saying he says he now has evidence to support his request for the gag order, but he needs time to put it together. Even though the gag order has been in place for 4 months, over 4 months. Over 4 months, right here. Even though the gag order has been placed in over 4 months. I don't know if you guys can see my cursor. Hopefully you guys can. He asked the courts to continue to enforce the gag order while he collects his evidence. Again, another violation. So literally, Brian Kohberger's attorney is wanting to violate every single person, everybody else's rights. She cares about nobody else's constitutional rights in this country other than trying to get a fair trial for, allegedly, a fair trial for Brian Kohberger. I think that is not true. I think what she's intentionally trying to do is keep information about Brian Kohberger away from the public, and you can't do it. You can't use the courts to do that in an unlawful way. It further states, Brian Kohberger's request turns the judicial process on its head. I agree with that statement. When a party requests a court order, he has the burden of submitting evidence that supports that order before the court issues the order. So you see kind of how this is all twisted around. They issued the order, but before they even presented the evidence that he's even that anybody's even in violation of violating his constitutional rights. They're just saying, oh, because we think somebody might. You can't put orders together because of a might. A party is not entitled to obtain relief first, and that is the issue. They're not entitled to the relief first, and then take months to collect and present evidence to purportedly support the requested relief. While those principles apply generally to the judicial process, it is a standard. So they're saying this generally applies across the board, and that is a true statement as well. They are paramount when the unsupported court order restricts First Amendment rights. The loss of the First Amendment right freedoms for even minimal periods of time unquestionably continues irreparable injury. So they're saying because you keep delaying, you're causing even more injury. Interveners have suffered irreparable harm to their constitutional rights since January. And this is what I have been explaining to everybody across YouTube. And while all the hate channels are sitting there lying to you guys and not telling you what your rights are, because they're so filled with all this anger and hate, They won't instruct you or even give you the information that is factual to you. They're over there saying that you have no right to know what's going on. Well, the Supreme Court of Idaho says we do. So clearly, the people that you are watching on these hate channels don't care about giving you guys the truth. Because at the end of the day, we all have constitutional rights. Our Constitution is not what governs us. It's what governs our government, our judicial process. It is the rules they must follow, and they are not following it in this case. Mr. Kohberger acknowledges that process was not followed here, as he still has not even collected the evidence he intends to submit. And if he had the evidence, and not only that, but when they actually approached the judge the first time and she issued these non-dissemination orders, that was the evidence that they presented. And it's not enough to justify the type of order. And even if they present 1,000 hours of evidence, it's not going to justify this non-dissemination order, period. It's not, because they're in hypotheticals. And in the law, you can't put orders based on hypotheticals. They have to be true. As interveners have requested, the court should stay enforcement of the amended non-dissemination order pending further briefing and hearing on interveners' motion to intervene. The motion to vacate the amended non-dissemination order to avoid any additional irreparable harm in the interim. If indeed the evidentiary hearing is the next step to determine whether a gag order is needed, no gag order should be enforced in advance of that hearing. And I absolutely, without a doubt, 100% agree with that statement. So here we have this all over again. We have the non-dissemination order, we have an amended non-dissemination order, and then we have a memorandum that's trying to explain the non-dissemination order. The order itself should be crystal clear. And if it's not crystal clear, that in and of itself shows that it's overly broad and vague. If you need a memorandum to explain an order, you've already lost your argument. You have already lost your argument, in my opinion. So as soon as Megan Marshall did that memorandum saying, oh, we just want people to follow the, the ethics of attorneys, the 4.3 section or the 6.3, we just want them to follow. Well, you don't need to put that in an order because it's already in another document that the attorneys must follow. So this still doesn't make sense. It just doesn't. Good morning, Jennifer. It's nice to see you. Good morning, Cranky Pants, Southern Granny Wolf. Steffers, good morning, love. I see Kayla's in the house. Good morning. Princess Mega Elsa, I don't remember if I said good morning to you or not, but good morning. Pixie, it's nice to see you. Happy Mother's Day. Aurora Phoenix. For all, Buck Cherry Lover. Good morning. Love it. I think I got everybody now that's come in since that's wrote in the chat. So good morning, everybody. And everybody else that is tuning in, we're having some idiot issues. Audio issues. Yeah, we are having some idiot issues here. No, I'm just joking. So, anyways, we're going through this. Good morning. We're going through all of this stuff, and it's a little crazy. And this is not the case we're covering today. Just by the way, I'm not driving all the way to Idaho. I'm just letting you guys know we're not going to Idaho. Okay. But because of the fact that I needed some rest and we're going to be getting out later. And I also was thinking, first of all, we have church, which I'm probably going to be following and listening to church in the car on the drive this morning. So if you guys want to attend church with me this morning at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, which I believe is 8:30 my time. So it's going to be right as we're wrapping up this morning. We're going to be getting over to church. It's Mother's Day. I'm wondering. I'm sure, not wondering. I'm absolutely sure that there's going to be a great, beautiful message for all you beautiful people out there, all you beautiful mothers, this amazing Mother's Day. I did want to let you know, I survived tornadoes. Okay, guys? I survived tornadoes. If you guys don't know, we had some really severe weather here and it was getting really, really ugly and really, really dangerous. But so far, nobody's knocked on my door and said my car is blown away, and I'm still here. I pinched myself this morning to make sure I'm here, and yep, I'm here. Yep, I feel it. Yep. Hello, anybody in? No, I'm just joking. So, what are your guys' opinion about this document? I mean, quite frankly, it's like, oh, that's right. I got more information for you. And in addition to that, sorry, I don't know what I was thinking. Is this the right one? Which one is this one? This is 10. So this one, remember this? I said, because I truly believe it was because of the Supreme Court order. We had finally received our first hearing notice that the public is allowed to attend. Let me rephrase that. A public hearing that the public is now allowed to attend. We're now allowed to attend the hearings for Brian Kohberger. They're no longer allowed to be held in secret. This is a public hearing. I want to repeat that for all the people in the back, including Brian Kohberger's defense attorney. This is a public trial of your client. Public trial. Hello, you in the back? Hi, public trial. That means we, the people, are allowed to attend. You need to choose whether you want us to attend. And this day and age, social media has been deemed by the United States Supreme Court as being the public square. That is true. Social media is protected under the Constitution. So we had this one. This one here was for a few motion hearings. It's a scheduling conference, but this was related because they had the 525 hearing for the Gonzalez motion to reconsider the non-dissemination order. That was for the 25th. And then all of a sudden that one was canceled. This 521 at 10 a.m. was scheduled I'm assuming in its place, even though we didn't get clarification that that's what's happening. I'm just assuming that. And then this one, as opposed to the 525 one, this one here is where we can join online. So that 525 hearing was canceled. This one was set up for 10 a.m. And I'm assuming it's for the Gonzalez family. Well, now we have the objection, the motion to delay, and now the response, the reply to Brian Kohberger's motion to delay the hearing for the non-dissemination order. And then look at this right here. This is a new hearing date. That is correct. We have a new notice of hearing that is also going to be public. This one here, remember that motion to compel that Brian's attorneys filed on his behalf? Well, that motion to compel is going to be heard on 5/22 at 11 a.m. So we actually have 2 hearings for Brian Kohberger. 2. We have 5/22 at 10 a.m. for scheduling conference, and we have a motion to compel on 5/22. I don't know. Here's the kicker. Is this to address the Gonzalez family non-dissemination order, or is this something totally different because it says scheduling conference? Has the judge yet again chose to violate people's rights by delaying their opportunity to modify that non-dissemination order? And I absolutely agree 100%, hands down. Oh, the real me too. Oh, thank you, love. Happy Mother's Day, Betty, for all your hard work, love, and voice for the children. Left voiceless. Thank you. Thank you, love bug. So it's making me, this is not only that, but you know what? Me as a professional and having doing this quite a bit, I'm not saying there's a lot of different types of journalism. And I think that that's where the confusion arises as to what, because people hear the commentators on, CNN and News Nation, and, they don't understand that there's multiple different genres of journalism. That is absolutely true. Genres of journalism. And there's different kinds of types of journalism, from reporting news to investigative reporting. There's just, here, let me just express this. Broadcasting journalism, photojournalism, science journalism, digital journalism, political journalism, education, sports, business, civil. And these are types of genres that you can be in. Now you got different forms of journalism. Okay? There's a lot of different forms of journalism, from opinion journalism. And an opinion is where you say your piece and fling off shackles of objections, and while presenting the argument, you can be opinionated, whatever the issue or topic is, right? So you have your opinion journalism. You have your travel journalism that creates content related to travel, the travel industry, tourism. You've got photojournalism. You've got a whole bunch of stuff, even feature journalism. And under that, you've got other types. And people don't realize all of that. All of the different types of journalism, all the different types of media, all the different types of press. You are constitutionally protected. You are constitutionally protected. This wild idea, which, there's a lot of people. I mean, think about it. There are people in, even on mainstream media, that have never gone to school for journalism. Did you know that? There are literally thousands of people on the news across this country that have never stepped foot in a college for journalism. Never. Now, while we do take classes, there's a lot of different types of classes, from writing skills to how to collect news. There's a lot of classes everywhere, all over. And I behoove anybody that is a creator out there to take those classes. Become better in your craft. And when you're better in your craft, it's a better presentation for everybody across the board. The bottom line is we have a right here in this country. We have a right to collect and report news. We have a right to commentate on the news. We have a right to be a part of the news, as in gonzo journalism, another genre of journalism. And I hope you guys look that up. Actually, I'll look it up for you. For those that don't understand what gonzo journalism is, it's a style of reporting that places the reporter at the center of the story in a highly personal and particular way. Gonzo journalism relays facts in a subjective manner and typically employs satire, hyperbole, scather, critique, and shocking descriptions as part of their story. Okay? So why am I showing you this and giving you an education on it? Because Brian Kohberger is not just affecting mainstream media, okay? It's affecting all journalism. It's affecting all press. It's affecting all media. Anybody that's covering this case that has a right to cover this case, it is affecting them financially. And it's against the law for them to do this. So far, out of all these hearings in this case, in this public trial case, every single hearing we have been blocked from. They have been held in secret. They have been held in the judge's chambers. They have been away from the public and away from the public eye. Hyperbole. Do you like how I say that? Did you like it? Did you like it? And for those who are like, what in the world are you people talking about? And it's exaggerated statements or claims not meant to be taken literally. Now, I do a combination of several different things, from investigative to gonzo to actually reporting and collecting. So it's 7:45 here. It is, I don't even know what time it is here. It is 6:45 here. 6:45 here. Aw, people are already starting to send messages out for Happy Mother's Day. It's nice to see you all. Even you guys sit out here. At any rate, I can't blame anyone for sleeping in. Well, I've just been run ragged. I don't know what it is here lately. It's something with, I don't know if it's the plane, if it's because I feel like like even today, I'm like, I'm starting to get anxious, and I'm like, I really need to get out there. I'm like, you know what? You have all day. Like, my plane's not leaving until tomorrow. It's only a 4-hour drive. So I literally have all day. So I figured I'd take a break, take a breather. I'd come live so we can get talk about our discussion, and then we could go into church, because church is going to be starting at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be probably kicking off and getting into the chat room around 9:20 for those that would like to attend church with us. It's just this is kind of the thing with the church. It's like, I've been trying to get back into a brick and mortar, and with my lifestyle and the fact that I'm always trying to work in research, and there's always something going on, it's making it hard for me to get up, get dressed, get to the brick and mortar, have church service. And then I realized that I have a lot of people that follow me that are homebound, that can't get out. They are literally unable to get out. I've got people that follow us that are in some form agoraphobic in a way. They don't want to leave their home, and they just feel safe for whatever reason, and that's, but they it's not that they don't want to attend church, they just don't want to attend church alone. So I was starting to think, how can we bridge that gap where we can all be attending church and all be attending church with friends and family? And so we started looking out, and a friend mentioned a church, and that friend, I started listening to that church, and I thought, wow, this is great music. I kind of like the messaging. The people are funny, so it's not just like you're sitting there and, you have like a whole mix. So it really is nice for everybody. Everybody that wants a real strong, powerful message, they get that. Some people, they get their messaging through music. Music's a very powerful tool. And, some people get their messaging from the songs that are sung. So, and some people get their messaging by, being in some respects entertained, like being able to laugh, during service instead of just sitting there, right? So you get all of that with this church. You get the great music that has a powerful message. You get that powerful message from whoever's up there preaching that morning. They have several different pastors that preach. And then you get the little bit of, satire and fun that goes along with it. So absolutely, Countryside Church welcomes all. And so, I was thinking this would probably be a great, and I figured, let's try it. And literally the first time we tried it, I want to say we had like 10 or 15 people in the chat room. Of course, they have their own, the church has their own group of people that come in and listen online anyways. But for me, seeing our faces, our names over in the church chat, I think it was like around maybe 10 people. And I thought, wow, we just brought 10 people over to church that hadn't gone to church, maybe hasn't gone to church ever, hasn't gone to church in a while, but clearly they were at home and they weren't going to get a message that day. And they ended up, sitting with me in church and actually getting that message. So then the next week, it was like it almost doubled. And then the next week, you know, I started seeing more and more coffee clubbers over at church. And so it really does warm my heart. And we are all there for good reasons. And it's been a real blessing there for us to get the word. And I really do believe that we are even bringing some more people over that maybe don't want to, you know, comment in the comment box, or, you know, let us know that they're there. Maybe they might be our, you know, our resident spies for the opposition, right? But they're probably there listening, and they're even getting the word of God. So it's like, you know, it's really became kind of a win-win. And I really do enjoy chatting, but you'll see everybody starts chatting and stuff, you know, and it's so funny because I'm watching, and every now and then I got to remember, oh, I got to say something, you know, I got to say, because I'm so intently listening to the messaging and listening to the song. And I actually, believe it or not, we're not turning the cameras on for Bullhorn Betty, but actually behind the scenes, I'm singing the song. I won't lie. I'm singing the songs. When they ask us to stand, I'm standing. Like I'm involved in this online church thing, right? I want to act like I'm right there in church. So when they tell you to bow your head, I'm bowing my head. Like when they're telling me to raise my hand, I'm behind the scenes raising my hand, right? Because it's not really for everybody to. It's between me and my God. So, you know, if I'm believing, I'm doing this stuff. So I chuckle because I'm like, I think my audience would laugh at me if they actually saw what I was doing behind the screen on church. Yeah, more people do need God. And I was going to actually say something because, you know, we talk about, you know, mental illness and things of that nature. And, you know, on the heels of Lori Daybell, and things of that nature. It's like, you know, I've met some really quacky people in my life, like really, really, really quacky people. People, they're harmless, but you can tell they're just not right. They're just not right. Oh, and I wanted to give you guys an update. I wanted to read this because last night, Steffers, thank you, love bug. God bless you. God bless you. And we're going to get out of here. I mean, as soon as this is over, I still got to pack up. I got everything unpacked, and I'm not even going to pack the bag good because I got to go to another place and take everything out. I just got to get all my supplies though. But thank you for that. What was I saying? I forgot. My brain just went like 1,000 different places. So I'll go back to that. I forgot what I was talking about, but I'll go back to that. I would, what is this? I would, but I have to go having chest pains again. So taking nitroglycerin, hopefully it helps. Well, crazy Texan truth seeker, take care of yourself. You know, we only get one body. And, you know, I remember people telling me that in my younger years. I'm like, you need to slow down in life. You only get one body. You can really tear it up. And you know, of course, you're stupid and it'll never happen to you. But I'm telling you, I feel it. It's bad. But I've been flipped in a car, you know, all types of stuff. So. Oh, I remember what I was saying. I remember. I told you it'd pop back in my head. And it is about Miss Robbins keeping me fat on Starbucks, but that's good because I could use Starbucks today. That is the one thing I have had here was lack of coffee. I'm going to have to start. Like I have decided from this point forward, I don't think I'm going to fly anymore. I really don't. First of all, it's entirely too expensive. And it does cause, you know, unless it's one of those things where I have to get out there quick, I think I'm going to start driving. Even when I go to Idaho, I think I'm going to rent a vehicle and drive there. And if it takes me 2 days to get there, it takes me 2 days to get there. I'll just stay at a hotel. But driving, I have a little more control on my schedule. I think we'll see a lot more countryside. We can stop and, you know, we can find some cases on the way there to stop to kind of break the cases up a little bit. It's going to be a little harder on my body, but it's this whole airport stuff. It's driving me nuts. Like Like everything, nothing anymore. You can, it's not convenient anymore. You got to stuff everything into a suitcase. Like if I'm gone for 2 weeks, I've got to have a suitcase. They're charging you out the butt to check bags anymore. Now you used to be able to have a paid for check bag and bring a personal item in a carry-on. Now you can't even bring carry-ons on. They want to charge you for carry-ons, and that's even with United. So it's starting to get to the point where it's like, I'm just getting tired of being nickel and dime. I feel like the services that are provided are not ones that, like, you can't, everything's just too expensive when it comes to the airports. Even the airports, when you're sitting in the airports now, when you go to the restaurants there, they don't even come up and serve you. Like you're buying like $100 steak, a $60 freaking steak, and you've got to point your phone at a table, QR code, and you got to order your food yourself. And you're lucky that somebody will even come up and say, "Hey, how are you doing today? Can I help you?" Right? Good morning, with that bright face. Like here you are spending $100 at one of these restaurants, and you're being treated like you're a second-rate citizen. I'm like, I got to order my food. Like nobody comes up here and asks me, what do I want? Ask me like, what's the purpose? I just don't like it anymore. I really don't. And not only that, but half that food is microwave food. Did you know that? It's not even made fresh. You're spending $21 on a bacon, egg, and cheese breakfast, and it's coming out of a freaking microwave. I'm like, no, thank you. Video of Betty driving with the windows down, laughing so hard. Drive like you stole it. Exactly. And I don't mind camping, but I just think it'll reduce a lot of costs if I start driving, and not only that, but like getting a van or a minivan to do it, and I can just camp. I'm a camper. I don't mind going into places. I don't need, I've got showers wherever I go. I mean, I've got gym memberships. I literally got a gym membership across this country. I got a Planet Fitness. They have showers. I don't need a hotel for a shower. I got showers literally at 20,000 locations. Everyone is starting to charge for crap. That was always exactly and it's the consumer is getting hit. And meanwhile, this is what I don't like is meanwhile, the head honchos are making, like $40 or $50 million a year. Like, dude, who needs that much money? Who needs that much darn money? Take some of that money and put it towards your customers. Provide them better customer care, customer service. And not only that, but have you noticed how crappy the employees are there? Everybody's got a short fuse. You ask them a question, they're ready to tear your damn head off. It's like, well, what's this happening? Well, yeah, now. Listen, baby, you got the wrong person you think you're going to talk to like that. I'm asking you a question. I'm being nice. But if you want to make a big deal, I'm the one to do it. Like you can ask anybody that travels with me. I do not get embarrassed very easily. Now, if you get embarrassed very easily, you might want to, stay a few people back, okay? Because I do have a mouth and I do know how to use it. If you haven't noticed yet, I don't know if people out there notice, but I got this mouth and I know how to use it, right? That's what makes me so controversial. Some people don't like me. They don't realize that, I'm a different person working than I am in person. Like my personality is still the same. And in person, like even if somebody really got under my skin, I'd let them know they got under my skin, just like I do here. I mean, but still, there are some things that I do professionally that I don't do personally. Okay, like being out, and I guess like activism and stuff like that in certain situations, like even with my bullhorn, I'd be out there with it, but it's not a big deal. Like in certain types of environments, it's expected. So it's not like a huge deal. It's not like a major controversial issue. Okay. What makes a major controversial issue is me taking the bullhorn in front of people's houses. That's what people don't like, right? And I shouldn't say people don't like. It's what the hate channels don't like. But that's exactly why I do it, right? Because we're bringing attention to a case. And there's nothing better to bring attention to a case than controversy, period. There's just not. It's a strategy that's used. It works great. And you know, I have to utilize, and I have been successful, and my mods know, because I've strategized in the past about, you know, if we do this, it's going to make the hate channels do this, and we need them to do this. So I actually, you know, use in some cases use the hate channels because I know how they're going to act, because they're so there's, what is it when you like, they're so predictable, right? They're so predictable that I know that if I do something this way, it's going to elicit their response. And sometimes I need them to elicit that response. Sometimes I just need to elicit the response of the community I'm in, right? So it's like, it depends on what we're doing, but those are strategies to get attention to the case. When in my personal life, I'm not bringing attention to a case, right? So there's a whole different element of me, you know, relaxed bullhorn Betty. Yes, believe it or not, I'm not, I'm not running on 1,000% every single day. You know, I actually like quiet time, downtime, nice slow walks on the beach, you know, hearing the waves. I like to go, right? But it's funny because we have to do things to inspire people to watch, and that's where the controversy comes in. How do you bring attention? Like, you know, Duty Ron, he has his whole, I've been an officer, a New York officer, even though I don't mind violating people's constitutional rights, whatever, but that's his shtick, right? So he has that. And, you know, other people have different things, like the hate channels, they peddle hate, right? We peddle cases. That's what we peddle. That's our shtick, right? That's what we do. We peddle cases. We find cases, we dive into cases, we bring those cases. Our audience wants to hear more information about that case. We dive in, we find out that there's nothing going on. What do? You strategize. We're not here just to tell a story. We're here to provide attention to a case, and hopefully that attention to that case leads to an arrest or helps that case in some way, shape, or form. That's what the hope is. Not every time is it like that. And Chatham County is a great example of it, where we get into town, we're kind of just trying to figure out what's going on. We know we're out there beating the pavement, finding out information about the case, and really, really honing in on the facts of the case. And when we start hearing the facts, and then we start hearing the sheriff, and everybody knows, by the way, everybody that sent me the blitz deck, oh my God, I literally have 3 sticks in here because I lose them, and then I find them, and then I lose them, and then I find them, and then I lose them. But now my lips are in good shape because I always have the blue sticks. But anyways, you know, we go through all this stuff, and Chatham County was a little different because the trolls decided to rear their ugly head and really pee on after this little boy, Quentin Simon, was already disgraced so much by his own family. These other channels had to disgrace his name just a little bit more. Every time the hate channels say, you know, look over there, not over here, we find out that the people that they're protecting are the ones that are the criminals they're going to jail, right? And that's why we don't like the hate. That's why we call them the hate channels, because they're filled with hate. They help the hate. They help the criminals. They do everything they can to help criminals escape responsibility from some of the most heinous acts that you can do to somebody. And then they support them financially. They support these people that do these despicable things to me and to you. They support them financially. And then you go over there and support them because you think their commentary, their hate-filled commentary, is funny. And all you're doing is putting money into the criminals' pockets. And I'm not talking about the creators. I mean, the creators, half of them are criminals anyways, but I'm talking about the actual criminals that they're supporting, that are doing these despicable things to children and people. I did want to let everybody know, the people that come to this chat and has been asking about Mama Bullhorn. I did give an update last night about Mama Bullhorn, but we didn't have all the people, our coffee club. I mean, we did have a lot of people in there, but the coffee club, not everybody in there from the coffee club was there. So I wanted to make sure I let you guys all know that Mama Bullhorn, her surgery was a success. She's doing better. I talked to her when she got out of surgery. And she was not in a whole lot of pain, and she had the that water wrap thing that they put on the knee, where they have the cold water that's the ice pack that just keeps water moving on your leg and knee. I guess it's for circulation purposes, possibly because you got a lot of swelling in there, and you got to think that swelling really is kind of constricting some of the veins and stuff like that in your leg. So they got to keep that, help your blood flow as good as possible. So she's in that, but she wasn't in a whole lot of pain, but she did have nerve blockers, when they did the surgery and whatnot. And so I told her, I said, just make sure you're taking your medication. You need to make sure that you have your medication, you're keeping up on that. I said, and she told me what she had, and I'm like, I really don't like it. Guys, I have to be honest with you, and I'll tell you this, and you guys may, hi, Stephanie, you guys may believe me, you may not believe me, but here it is. And I know some of you guys are having surgery, either coming up or have had it or still in the process of healing, like Jennifer. And like I told, I even told this to Jennifer. She can tell you that I'm not really a pill person. I try to stay away from it. Occasionally, like trazodone. Occasionally I have like a really bad time sleeping. I've got a prescription that's like 10 years old, maybe less than that, but a long time, and I keep them. They say, oh, they expire. Listen, it's a pill. I've never seen talc powder, expire. And not that the pills are made out of talc powder, but it's powder. So anyways, they might lose a little bit of potency, but that's all right. So but they gave my mom, something to help her, to aid in her sleep. And they also gave her this purported pain medication. Well, unfortunately, I'm one of those people that pain medication kind of gets you loopy. But honestly, in my loopy state, I still felt like the pain. I just wasn't. It didn't bother me that I was in pain that much, because I was loopy. Like I'm right. So I told my mom, I'm like, and she knows how I feel about it. And I'm like, I really don't. I know that you probably have to do it. I said, maybe use it for a day or two. I said, but honestly, I found the most relief, from either Tylenol, ibuprofen, or Aleve. I find more actual pain relief, where the pain is lightened. When you have surgery, this idea that you're not going to have any pain is ridiculous. Anybody that's trying to avoid pain altogether, the only way you're going to avoid pain is just not have the surgery. Unless you're in pain because you're not having the surgery, then you have to have the surgery and be in the pain necessary. So don't go at surgery like I want to be as pain-free as possible. You need to have the pain manageable. That's the goal. It's not no pain at all. That's not what even the doctors are going for. They're going for a pain management level. They want to make sure that your pain management, that you can handle the pain. Okay, that's all it is. It's not that you're not going to have it. You just want to make it bearable. And bearable doesn't mean nothing. It means you're going to have to. So anyways, long story short, you're not going to get any pain relief or blocked from any kind of pharmaceutical medication that they give you from a doctor. Even those really bad, really strong, heavy prescriptions that they give people for pain doesn't block the pain. It just makes you not think about it. I want the pain diminished, and the only way I can diminish the pain is through over-the-counter pain medication or a prescription such as that for pain medication. I don't think a narcotic is necessarily needed for pain management. In some cases it is. I've met people that have had crushed spines that have been put back together that have pain every single day, and if it wasn't for pain management, and I met a lady that was on some of the strongest stuff that you can imagine, and it was just so she can live a day without pain. She says she knows that at this point, she's been on the stuff for 20 years. She says she has to do it, and it's not even an addiction for her, but she knows that if she didn't have it at this point, she would have withdrawals because it's been 20 years. But it's what she has to have. It's what she has to do. It's the only, and in some cases, in cases like that, it's the only way that they can survive. They can't walk or move because they're in so much pain from injuries. And the doctors can't, stop the pain because it's nerves. Yeah, it does. And it's a very, very strong and very, very addictive pharmaceutical prescription. It's very addictive. But in some cases, unfortunately, the thing is that the body may be addicted without you being like a drug addict. You know, your body can still be dependent on a medication without you being that skid row drug addict. And that's how she explained it to me. She's like, I know my body has to have it. Like at this point, I've been on this stuff, my pain management doctor, I've been on it for 20 years. You know, it's the only thing that works. We tried several different things. The several different things work. So she just has to take her prescription. She's never abused her prescription, but so it's not about the abuse of the prescription. It's about the fact that she's been on it so long, she knows her body's dependent upon it now. I guess I have an addictive personality and my mom didn't. I think everybody can I think this day and age in this society, we kind of promote addictive type of personalities. Think about it. I mean, we've got, you know, video games that just people play 10, 12 hours a day. I mean, it's literally insane. But yeah, you have there's a lot of stuff that are probably, you know, can cause like an addiction type of situation. 30 minutes when I had surgery in the hospital. The blue is because of the program she needs to use. She earned it. Would be off a bit. Good morning, AG. Nice to see you. Sean, I just saw you come in. Good morning. I don't think I told you good morning, Amethyst, so I apologize about that. So good morning, guys. We're already crossed over about an hour, and I've got to still got to still pack up, and I will turn my phones on. That's what I was going to do, is turn my phones on so I could speak to all of you, but with my internet just not, as always, right? My internet not cooperating with me here, it's going to, I just can't turn the phones on because it's, I mean, just showing you that those pages that I was showing you is a lot different. It slowed the system down, but I'll try to come when I get to where I'm going, if I can go live, since I'm not going to be presenting anything to you like these notices of hearing, as well as that the reply to Brian Kohberger's objection or whatever. You know, that stuff's just paper, but it's still slowing the internet down for whatever reason. But for those that are just tuning in, we have the media, the collective media has replied to Brian Kohberger's motion to object the non-dissemination, the modification of the non-dissemination order. The bottom line is, and for those that are just tuning in, the bottom line is that the Supreme Court has spoken. That order is unconstitutional. And with Brian Kohberger's team saying, hey, well, 4 months wasn't long enough to prepare and we need to bring some witness. It doesn't matter what witness you bring in. It doesn't matter how difficult this is for your client. It doesn't matter. The Supreme Court has spoken. The Supreme Court has spoken. There is not one bit of information that you can bring in that's going to stop the non-dissemination order from changing. The judge needs to either remove it completely until an evidentiary hearing is done, or she needs to modify it and adjust it to the rule of law. I don't care which. And if all she's worried about is the attorney's conduct, then the non-dissemination order is moot because they have their own rules that they have to follow, that she constantly keeps referencing. The order, you don't put an order on a case when there's already another directive. So the attorneys already have another directive that they're required to adhere to. The order is moot if that's the case. So again, no matter how you look at it, this order has got to go away. And keep injuring the parties, keep injuring the media is not going to bode very well. Happy Mother's Day to all the new mothers that are just popping in here. Not new mothers, but all the new audience that are just popping in here that are mothers. Gotta make sure. Many others before Bryant haven't been treated with kid gloves. Exactly. And I don't know what this is. It seems like all these courts went to a hearing. The court hearings of USA or something like that, right? And now everybody's talking about these non-dissemination orders. You can't just go straight to a non-dissemination order. You can't. There actually has to be something that triggers that non-dissemination order. And not only that, but even when you're weighing the non-dissemination order on the rights of the people, you still have to make sure that there's no other remedy available with less restrictive properties to it. And in this case, a non-dissemination order is the most egregious. And at the end of the day, they haven't even entertained any other less egregious measures, less restrictive measures. So anyways, guys, we've been here for an hour. I do feel like it's probably time. Oh, I know what I was going to do. I've done this. This is the third time I was trying to do it, and I didn't do it. So I did want to read this because we've been talking about this whole subway thing. We've been talking about the whole subway. Who sent that to me? Is it in here? Is it in my mod chat? Hold on, guys. Let me find it. I think it's in my mod squad. Give me just a second. Oh, here it is. It's the New York Post. Actually, I do have the ability to show this on here. So hold on just a second. Let me get this over here and I'll just share the tab. Give it just a second. It should be sending. Why is mine waiting? All right, let me cancel that. It's not doing it for some reason. We'll cancel that. I'll just go over here. It kind of sucks though. I don't know why it's staying waiting. It's not going to let. Oh, I know why. Because we just don't have the internet to push it over. Give me just a second. That's in my mod squad, which is on Facebook. I'll pull it up. I see Emma's pretty little face in our mod squad. I hope Emma Sepsis Kills is doing well. I miss you. We're going to have a group chat on the mod squad. We'll probably do that maybe later tonight or tomorrow. All right, let's share this instead. There we go. Hopefully you guys can all see this. And I wanted you guys to see it. I don't want to listen to this. So let's go ahead and pause that. Well, there we go. So who is Jordan Neely? Now, this is actually a really good article. This article was, let me make sure, is this up on my screen? No, it's not. I'm sorry. I'm glad I could pop back over here. So there we go. So this is an article about Jordan Neely. And I really like this article because it really shows the victim's personality and who he was. And his story is really sad. I have to be honest with you. Jordan Neely's story is it's horrific, and I truly, my heart bleeds for him. My heart bleeds for him. But I nailed this. I nailed this yesterday without even seeing this article. I just got this article this morning. Actually, I think it was sent to me yesterday after the live that we were on. I think it was on the live. And then I ended the live and I saw this article, but I said, because you guys were telling me information in here, because I only had the information that was released on my video. And of course I've been out of pocket since, and I haven't had a whole lot to, review and check up on. But, after this, I read this. This is definitely New York failing to take care of its sick people, its mentally ill people. Without a doubt. This is a hands down issue that this could have all been avoided if the state of New York would have done their job. This man would still be alive. His family fought and begged with the state of New York to help him. His aunt begged them to help him. Did you know Jordan Neely himself was begging them to take him in and help him before this incident. Did you know that? Yeah. And so the state of New York is blaming the Marine for this. And it's been the state of New York's problem the whole time. This situation would never have been created if the state of New York would have done the right thing. What do I mean? Let's find out. The New York man whose subway chokehold death sparked an outcry this week was remembered by family and friends as a loving entertainer with a beautiful smile who spiraled into mental illness after his mother's brutal murder 10 years ago. That was the triggering event. So he's already, so the victim here, Neely, his life just spun out of control when his mother was brutally murdered. Jordan Neely, 30, died May 1st when a Marine held him in a chokehold for several minutes after he allegedly started ranting aggressively on the F train. At the time of his death, Jordan was known to New York City police as a troubled drifter who frequently complained of mental illness, telling cops he was schizophrenic and sometimes even suicidal. Close family friends, Nidra, I can't pronounce her last name, of Washington Heights, told the Post that Jordan was born an entertainer who loved to perform Michael Jackson impressions on the subway. He wasn't aggressive. That's not who he was. He loved to dance, and that was his outlet. In a GoFundMe to pay for the funeral expenses, Jordan's aunt, Caroline Neely, described her nephew as a talented Black man who loved to dance. Performance was his thing, she wrote under a cheerful selfie of the pair in happier times, describing their last conversation to the Post. Caroline recalls her nephew, courageous grin. He was smiling. He had a beautiful smile, she remembered. Teenage tragedy. Those closest to Jordan, however, also acknowledged his years-long struggle with mental illness, which they say began after the death of his mother, Christy Neely. Christy Neely, 36, was murdered in April 2007 by her partner, Sean Sutherland, who allegedly strangled her and stuffed her into a suitcase and tossed her onto the shoulder of Henry Hudson Parkway. It reported in 2012. Jordan, who was only a teenager at the time, was called to testify against Sutherland. The relationship had been crazy, a fight every day, he said of the pair. During the trial, Jordan also recalled the heartbreaking moment he tried to say goodbye to his mother before school for the last time, only to be blocked by Sutherland. And here's a thing, failed by the city. And this is coming from the New York Post, by the way, guys. So if the New York Post is saying New York failed this boy, New York failed this boy. Sutherland was eventually found guilty and sentenced to 30 years in prison in March 2022. Caroline told the press that Jordan had understandably never been the same after his mother's killing. It had a big impact on him. He developed depression, and it grew and became more serious. He was schizophrenic, PTSD. Doctors knew his condition and needed to treat him for that, she laminated. In the years immediately following his mother's death, neighbor James Berry said Jordan stayed off and on with his grandparents. In 2009, however, his grandmother complained that Neely wouldn't listen to him, cutting school, hanging out with older crowds. Jordan was a sweet kid, but he was very, very hard-headed, she told authorities. He would not listen to me or his grandfather. We don't want him to get in trouble. He's not a bad person. We hope Jordan can be helped in some way and start acting responsible. In 2010, he threatened to kill his grandparents. Jordan's father, Andre Zachary, 60, abandoned him when he was a baby, Caroline said. She also said told the Post that he sometimes stayed with his father, but the two did not get along. The aunt said Neely was in and out of Bellevue Hospital for several years. Sources told the Post that he can occasionally accepted help from Bowery Residential Committee via New York City Department of Homeless Services through at least 2020. Caroline explained that her efforts to get her nephew more intensive care were thwarted by doctors and the medical system. His aunt, as his blood, I was crying for medical help for my nephew, but everything was about insurance, she said. He just needed better help from doctors who did not give him the help when I asked. I was really frustrated. I didn't know what else to do. I didn't know what to do anymore, she said. Sorry, I paraphrased that. Jordan also shared his lingering trauma with his friend Moses Harper, an artist. He told me about how much his mother's passing impacted him. He disclosed that she was murdered and her body was put in a suitcase. It's traumatizing. It's traumatized him. He was not expecting that. The brutal way she was taken. That was that had a big impact on him. The brutality behind that traumatized him. The kid was cried in front of me, and that hurt him in his heart. History with the police. Jordan started regularly crossing paths with the police around 2013. He was known for hanging around parts of Lower Manhattan as well as Harlem, Queens, and Brooklyn. On January 24th, 2013, for example, officers found Jordan on West 145th Street complaining that his body was numb and he was hearing voices. He was voluntarily committed to South Sinai Morningside. I think that's how you pronounce it. 3 years later, in January 2016, cops again brought him to the hospital after he was suicidal. He was admitted a third time 8 months later after police got complaints of an angry, drunk man threatening people around West 168th Street. Harper said she saw Jordan in 2016 when she bumped into him on the subway while he was begging passengers for food. She said, I had never seen him like that before. Jordan's police run-ins continued over the next few years. Sometime he was admitted for medical treatment or else brought to a shelter. In February 2019, he was telling cops he wanted psychiatric help because he was hearing voices, sources said. In March 2020, he was admitted to Bellevue for psychiatric evaluation after a member of the citywide mobile crisis outreach team saw him wandering aimlessly on a train platform around Norfolk Street. He was disheveled, smelled. Police said he'd been off his meds for months. It is unclear what happened after Jordan's evaluation or if he ever received one. Crisis teams located him four more times during the height of COVID, once in April and 3 times in May. By the time of his death, Jordan had about 43 aided cases calls in his name, meaning he was likely known to the city Behavioral Emergency Assistant Response Division. The unit does not operate in Manhattan yet. Several arrests. Jordan, who also racked up numerous arrests, including 2021 incident which he hit an older woman. I want you guys to hear this. He hit an older woman in the head and it landed him in jail for over a year. The victim was 67, fell when Jordan punched her on November 12, 2021, and he broke her nose, fractured her orbital bone, and suffered serious bruising and swelling, charging documents said. So it's not like Jordan Neely was not violent. It's not like he was not threatening people on that subway. This is his family and friends telling this story, guys. And it's a sad story to tell. But this idea that he didn't, I don't know how to properly say this because there's no good way of saying this that's not going to get somebody upset about it. The bottom line is he was mentally ill and he's known violent and serious, and he has already had serious bodily injury to a 67-year-old person in 2021. So he was erratic, he was violent, and he definitely had no problem hurting somebody. So now I have additional information about his background. As sad as it is, and again, mental illness is really sad, but it doesn't mean that I have to be assaulted because somebody else has mental illness. Okay, it doesn't mean I have to allow myself to be brutalized because somebody else has mental illness. This man is dead because he has mental illness. I agree to that. But this is not the Marine's fault. When you start looking at this and you get the behind the scenes information about this, you realize that this is a bigger issue here. And I can tell you, we need to be looking at New York City and squarely at New York City for this situation. This man should not have been out there to attack another person, especially when he and his family, this man, Neely, Jordan Neely, has been begging for help and has been turned away because he doesn't have insurance or money. He doesn't have insurance or money. That's the only crime here. On May 3rd, the city's medical examiner ruled Jordan's cause of death, compression of the neck chokehold, and that manner constituted homicide. It should have never gotten here, guys. It should have never gotten here, but it did. These folks need an outlet for help. They need, and not only that, but here in Florida, and this is what New York needs. If they weren't so corrupt and weren't putting your money in the pockets of their friends, they would have more money for these types of things. Here in the state of Florida, our hospitals can't turn you away. Our hospitals can't turn you away. If you have an emergency and you go to a hospital, they have to treat you. And I will tell you, the day that our hospitals here in my county get like New York, it'll never happen because there's too many people like me in my county. And I hope each and every one of you start doing the same thing in your county. There is manslaughter, meaning he accidentally killed him. Yeah. But in all fairness, I think now that we have a little insight on Jordan Neely, as sad as it is, and he was mentally ill, but again, a threat is a threat, and you have to resolve that threat. And it's an unfortunate and tragic event, but in light of this, and in light of this man's Jordan's history and his most recent history, especially the violence, I have a feeling that the Marine should be off for self-defense. And if you've got all those passengers on that subway train that saw what happened and testify in that Marine's defense, I have a funny feeling it's going to be ruled justifiable. But we don't know. Again, it's New York. It's New York. But if you guys in New York want crime, you're going to keep getting it. If you keep allowing New York to treat the mentally ill this way. You got the whole entire family begging for help, and New York can't help them. Won't help them. They can. They just choose not to. That's their choice. And they put people's lives in jeopardy. And this man lost their life because of their decision, the state of New York's decision to keep this man out and in the public. He didn't need to be in the public, and he should have been in a mental health institute. This man would be alive. The passengers wouldn't have been in fear. None of this would have happened. None of it. And that's the gravity and the reality of the situation from where I sit. Now, if you find out additional information that may alter my opinion of this, please send it to me at bullhornbetty@gmail.com. Yeah, and that's it. It's sad for both of them because I honestly feel bad for Jordan to have his mother murdered and that mental toll it took on him. And I feel bad because we are here. We are here and we see oh, thank you. Oh, it's doing something weird. It started some of the stuff over there. I didn't see that. That's kind of neat. I'm gonna have to go on the other side. Pay to and get $10. Yeah, I wish we have something similar to that. Like they have the Good RX, but here in America, our prescription prices are so expensive because the pharmaceutical companies are in the politicians' pockets, and it drives our costs up, and it makes it unsafe because they're too busy trying to be friends that they're allowing stuff that's really harming individuals to be put on the market. quickly. And then we have horrible results from it. People die, and then they pull it, years later after the pharmaceuticals made all the money that they wanted. And now they have a small little fee that they have to pay back in a form of a class action lawsuit. That's their business that's their business practices. That's how they do it. And they don't care. And nobody's doing anything to make it any better. There are some drugs that just should not be in prescription form. If you need the drug, you need to go to the doctor and get the drug. I'm sorry. It's a pain in the butt. And if I had to do it, I'd probably be annoyed by the process as well. But, in an effort to rein in the pharmaceuticals and their untethering amounts of supply of drugs for Americans, you guys have no idea. Let me give you an example why I'm so adamant about being careful about, even any not just, pain medicine, any prescription drug. When I was married, my ex-husband's stepfather, they weren't really married, but he called him dad. Stepfather had a brain aneurysm, and they didn't want to do the surgery because it was in the brain. It was in a very weird spot in his brain, and the surgery was an all or none. It's going to work or you're going to be dead. That was the kind of surgery it was, right? If it doesn't work, you're dead. If it does work, you may still have some complications. It was not a good surgery. There were no guarantees on it, and it would have most likely resulted in Claude's death. So they opted not to perform surgery on this aneurysm. So they left the aneurysm in his brain. It's scary because that aneurysm burst, he's dead. If he has surgery, he's dead. So they decided, not to do anything with the aneurysm and give him some medication, to make sure that his blood's flowing, make sure that it's not, the stuff's not collecting in his arteries and stuff like that. And so he had been on all this heavy medication for his blood for 20 plus years. So he has this aneurysm in his brain, and they're giving him all this medication to keep the aneurysm from exploding in his brain and killing him. You know what killed him? The 20 years of medication. He lost his liver and his kidney and died. They shut down on him. And it was from the chemical toxicity that he's had in his blood for the last 20 years. Killed his kidney and liver. He died. He didn't die from the brain aneurysm. He died from the medication they gave him. And so that's what chemicals are. Chemicals, and your organs have to process chemicals. That's why I always talk about, when we talk about food, I talk about using real. I don't care what I'm sorry. I don't care what the nutritionists say. I don't care. You cannot tell me that putting something with chemicals in my body is better than putting something that's fresh in my body. People are telling me to stay away from real butter and use margarine, which is nothing but a chemical compound, as opposed to authentic cream that comes from a cow. I'm going to go with the authentic stuff that comes from a cow, not some man-made stuff in a factory. You know why? Because my body is designed to process that animal fat. My body is not designed to process man-made chemicals. So I always believe fresh is best. And so there's a lot of reasons why I'm just not, I do believe if your doctor prescribes you something, you need to do what your doctor prescribes, but be attuned to your body. If you're starting to get nauseous, or you're starting to have like a pinch here or a pinch there, that's something that you need to take notice of. Yep. It's sad. It's sad. So anyways, guys, that's kind of the commentary for today. Not a whole lot. I mean, it was this whole stuff with Brian Kohberger is starting to speed up, but this is the one thing I am very, very pleased with is Judge Megan Marshall is finally realizing that you can't have these hearings behind closed doors. This is a public trial. And so now she's finally incorporating the public in it. So we will be running these hearings from the Bullhorn Betty channel on May 22nd. We will run this on May 22nd. And we'll just we'll do our coffee club on the 22nd, and we'll just chat and open up the phone lines and just keep ourselves entertained until the court hearing starts. And that's what we're going to do. Good morning, Just Samantha. It's nice to see you. My hubby just left to go plant in the garden. Weather is finally good. I have chickens and the baby Black Angus beef cow next. Raise our own food. Good. Yeah. And I actually have a friend, like one of my friends that was supposed to be here. I was talking to her mom because her mom came here, and she's like, oh, you know, she's nursing a cow. So apparently the cow was rejected. So they have to feed the cow by bottle. And she's a big gardener. So she's home doing the gardening. So she couldn't come out. But are we doing church today? Yes, we are doing church, May. We're going to be, I got to start getting ready now and getting out of here. But we're going to all be in church. I'm going to be listening to church as I travel to the case that I've been wanting to cover since I got out here. But in all fairness, guys, I have to be honest with you. I'm glad I did not cover the case the first day that I was here, because when I came in, I was wanting to go straight there, but I was so jet lagged and so tired that I honestly just wanted to get to this room and lay down. I was so tired. And I'm glad I did make that, even though it kind of got my schedule all screwed up because I didn't make the stop. I'm much happier because I feel like today I have time to really provide this case as opposed to when I was coming in, because even when I came in, I got here driving straight from the airport, got here at like 5:30, 6 o'clock. So had I been there any longer, not only would I have been working completely, utterly exhausted, I would have only been able to spend maybe an hour or 2 hours out there. The way we got it, the way it is now, and this is what I say, you know, sometimes things happen for a reason. Like I was really anxious about that. I'm like, oh my gosh, I just screwed my schedule. You know, I have other creators that are coming in. I'm worried that they're going to be covering this case and I'm not going to have time to cover this case before they get this case out. You know, all this other stuff that you worry about as a creator, because, you know, in the grand scheme of things, you really want to be, when you're covering cases, you kind of want to be the authority, and that really is what you would like to do. And when you're always constantly behind the 8 ball, it makes it difficult. So, you know, we're getting our land feet, we're getting things put back together, and we're getting systems put in place. And these are systems that should have been put in place a year ago. And we talked about putting systems in place a year ago, but we were so busy traveling. I was so busy dealing with everything and everybody else that I never really focused 100% on the channel. Well, now we have to focus 100% on the channel. We've got to get certain things done, and that's that policies and procedures. So I'll be working on that this next week. We've got to still get bullhornbetty.com up and running. And we're still working on, you know, I'm not even moving over to Patreon yet, but we are going to be doing a Patreon, because there's a lot of videos that are ad suitability over here on YouTube that we work very hard on, that we can't because of the sensitive nature of the topics, that we can drop over there on Patreon. And I'm going to start doing that, because I'm tired of, you know, doing a lot of work and having some weird algorithm out there telling me that, oh, ABC News can run this exact same story and they can have the commercials, but because you're Bullhorn Betty, you can't. I don't play that. I like the same playing field for everybody. I like it to be fair for everybody, and people, you create and you rise the way you want to create and do, just like these hate channels. You don't see me over there telling them how to do their job. I mean, I think their job's despicable, but you know what? You don't see me over there telling them what to do. I'll tell them to go F themselves when they step on my toes too much. If they don't like it, then don't step on my toes. Pretty simple stuff. It's not rocket science over here, you know? I'm pretty simple. At the end of the day, I'm a very simple person. You treat me well, I treat you well. You treat me like crap, I treat you like crap. And I can guarantee you I can get in that gutter a hell of a lot deeper than you can. So, and I am not opposed to that. I'm one of those Christians that don't mind fighting. I don't. Because I know God loves me. And God built me and he doesn't make mistakes. That's what I know. He gave me this brain and he gave me this mouth and he gave me this personality. So I have to trust it and I have to believe it. And I know for a fact that, you know, he sent his strongest out there to fight, right? So I'm not one of those Christians. We have enough Christians. I'm a giver. I give. I have no problem. I'll go to a soup kitchen. I'll go search for people. I'll do whatever. You know, I have no problem. But anyways, I'm getting tired. Happy Mother's Day, everyone. You know, I'm not even on the poll and I'm getting no, I'm just just joking. I'm just joking. I know Turkey Man probably going, what? Oh Lord. Turkey Man's probably preparing for his service right now. So we just want to say prayers for all of our pastors and preachers that come and visit the Bullhorn Betty channel. I just want to tell you that it's really sweet and really inspiring, to be honest with you. I'm very fortunate to have you guys here, and I have to tell you, by having you here, I feel like it makes me a better person. You know, I'm always talking about watching the profanity. I watch it a little harder and a little closer when I have my pastors and preachers in my audience. You know, it's always at the forefront because, you know, at the end of the day, I have a potty mouth, you know, and I've been working really, really hard not to, you know, to really change that, especially online, because things just pop out. I've talked the way I've talked my whole entire life, and trying to change that. Like as far as writing professional letters and stuff, I've done that for years. I can do that, you know, because writing something, but when you're just going, things just pop out. Things just pop out. So I've just been trying really, really, really hard with profanity. I'm still gonna cuss. I mean, we're not getting away. And I already know we're not going to get away from me being, oh, shoot and shucks. And well, I'll be, you know, every occasionally, but I know my mouth and I know that I have a pop mouth. That means that things just kind of pop out. Just boop, it comes from here and out here before I can even say, whoop. So that's just some of them. But anyways, guys, we made it about it. We were just a little shy of an hour and 40 minutes. So I'm going to let you guys go. I'm going to get packed up. We're going to get on the road. I think now's a great time to get on the road. It'll get everybody situated and ready for 9:30 at Countryside Christian Church. I will post the link in the community tab so everybody knows where to go. If you would like to attend church with us today, like I said, it's been really nice because we have, we started out like just a few coffee clubbers, and now I'm starting to see more and more coffee clubbers coming over to the church, and I just think it's really sweet because these are people that wouldn't be normally going to church, or otherwise they would be at their own church, and it's really sweet that we can have church together. Because in all fairness, we know each other. We're friends, right? And that's what we kind of do when we fellowship at church. But a lot of people, like I don't know people at a few other churches. I haven't been to a brick and mortar in quite some time. We have some bedridden people and people that just don't go outside of their house, but still want to go to church with friends. And so it's really been a win-win for everybody to do this virtual online church. We're all together. We can all fellowship together. And, you know, it's just great messaging, powerful messaging, great music. And it's funny, you know, you get to chuckle. It's not like you're right. So you get just a little more out of it. And I really think, and not only that, but I just feel like when we're all together, it just makes us a much better unit, you know, much stronger unit. You know, we all know where we're all coming from. You know, we all have the same word. We're being inspired by doing good. And that's really what I like. So it's been very fun seeing us go from like 5, 10 people to now seeing like 20 and 30 of our coffee clubbers in the chat. And it's been really amazing too. So if you guys just want a good message and, you know, to fellowship with some of your own kind, your own peeps, meet us over at the Countryside Christian Church for church service today at 9:30. Guys, I want to tell you, I love you all. I've missed you. I can't wait to get back to our coffee club. I miss our coffee club time, but this comes, you'll see, we've been doing this long enough that we know that this happens, right? We have our coffee club 6:30 to 8:30 every day, but then when we start traveling, things start getting a little hinky, right? They start getting a little hinky, and that's okay. So we'll just work through it. I no matter what, we'll always have good content. But I'm really, this case, I feel like the case that we're going to be covering, honestly, I feel like it's lost some attention, and I think it's so important and needs some attention. So we're going to be out there here in a little bit, and I hope I can go live. If I can, stay tuned and come support the live. I love you. Have a great day. God bless each and every one of you. And until next time, please be safe and kind to one another.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.